Is Japan moving towards the far right? And this shift is starting to change how a country deal with foreigners. The change has become clear after July 2005 elections when a political party called Sanseito, often described as Japan's first party, gained unexpected success. They went for holding just one seat in the parliament to winning more than a dozen. This is actually a small number compared to the most Japanese ruling party, but it shows something much bigger. Nationalists and anti-foreign ideas are gaining traction and popularity in the soil of Japan. Sanseito leaders say their focus is to protect Japanese culture, strengthen national pride, and reduce the country's reliance on the outsider. The campaign was strongly compared to Trump Make America Great Again, and it is a clear sign that Japan politics are shifting towards the far right. The question is why now, and why is Japan, a country that is often admired for politeness, stability, is now turning to this direction? The first reason is the economy. Japan has been struggling with slow growth for decades, and recently inflation has been hitting family harder. Prices for everyday goods are rising, while salaries do not increase that much. Many young people feel that their future is uncertain, and the older people feel that the country is losing control over its prosperity. When people feel economically insecure, they often look for simple answers, and far-right party offer exactly by saying that protect our own first and don't let foreigners take over. The second reason is Japan's shrinking populations. Japan has one of the fastest aging society in the world, where the number of young people is falling every year. Small towns are emptying as young people are moving to big cities, leaving behind ghost towns with abandoned schools, shops, and houses. Logically, one solution could be bringing immigrants to live and work in this town, but this is where tension appears. Japanese society has never been open to immigrant or immigration like before. Unlike countries like United States and Canada, Japan has long been seen as a culturally unique society. This makes the idea of mass immigration extremely controversial and difficult. We can see it clearly on the controversy over the African Hometowns project. The Japanese International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, launched a program to connect 4 Japanese towns with African countries such as Mozambique, Nigeria, Ghana, and Tanzania. The goal was simple: promote cultural exchange, build mutual understanding, and create new opportunities for cooperation. After soon the announcement, rumors spread online that Japan was preparing to invite a large group of Africans to move to this Japanese town. None of this was true, but the reaction was explosive. The local government received angry emails, and social media filled with xenophobic comments. Eventually, JICA and the Foreign Ministry has to issue an official statement to clarify that this project was only for cultural exchange, not immigration and relocation. This incident tells us a lot about the current mood of Japan. Even a small misunderstanding can quickly turn into a wave of backlash against foreigners, and they show many Japanese people are sensitive, even fearful when it comes to the idea of immigration. This fear does not come from nowhere, and is linked to the country's history of being close to outsiders. It's concerned about protecting tradition, and has experience with overcrowded tourism in recent years. In places like Kyoto, for example, locals have complained about disrespectful tourists who block streets, overcrowded trains, and ignore local rules. For many people, this frustration with tourists spill over to a wider discomfort with foreigners in general. Sanseito and other far-right groups are skillfully turning this emotion into political power. Their message is not very detailed in terms of policy, but it is powerful emotionally. Japan is for Japanese. Foreigners are welcome as visitors, but they should not change our way of life. They also spread their ideas through YouTube and social media, reaching younger audiences who are frustrated with the mainstream media. The strategy works very well, and in fact, Sanseito started as a fringe group in YouTube before turning into a real political force. Japan is in a dilemma. On one side, a country's aging population, shrinking workforce means it desperately needs new workers, new family, and new energy to sustain the economy. Already, Japan relies on foreigners or foreign workers in industries like construction, caregiving, and agriculture. On the other side, the rise of nationalist politics, the backlash against the programs like Africa Hometown, show that society is not ready to fully accept immigrants. Politicians are aware of these tensions, but instead of leading honest conversation about the needs for foreign neighbors, many of them avoid the issues, like Sanseito use it to gain votes by feeling fear. It is also important to note that Japanese society is divided. Surveys show that younger people, those in the late teens, 20s, and 30s, tend to be more open-minded towards foreigners. They're used to seeing tourists, learning English, and being part of global culture. But older generations, especially those who grew up during the Japanese economic boom in the 1960s or 1970s, are more protective of national identity and less comfortable with change. Since older people make up a large part of Japan's voting population, their voices carry more weight in the elections. This generational divide is one reason why far-right ideas can gain ground even with the young Japanese are more open-minded. The rise of far-right in Japan also reflects global pattern. Around the world, we see countries where nationalist movement gain popularity and power during time of economic stress and social change. In Europe, far-right parties are rising in places like France, Italy, Germany. In the United States, Trump America's first foreigners movement continues to dominate politics. Japan is not isolated from this trend, but the difference is that Japan has a very small immigration population compared to those countries, just around 3% in total population. But even with this small number feels large to many Japanese, especially in rural areas where foreign workers are more visible. So what does it mean for the future? For foreigners who want to visit Japan, the country would like to remain welcoming on the surface. Tourism is a major industry, and Japan values global image of being safe, polite, and hospitable. But for foreigners who want to live in long-term in Japan, things can become more difficult. Immigration policies could tighten permanent residency, and local community might resist accepting for outsiders. Unless Japan find ways to balance the demographic needs with the cultural fears, this conflict will only grow. There are also many Japanese who believe that the country needs to open and adapt. Business leader knows that without more foreign workers, some industry will collapse. Universities are encouraging more international students to come. Younger generations are more comfortable with cultural diversity. These forces may, over time, push Japan to open up despite political resistance. Japan today is standing at the crossroads. It can choose to adapt the reality of shrinking population by embracing foreigners as part of the future, or it can follow the growing far-right voices where it closes itself off even more. The real question is, can Japan's society will make the change peacefully and thoughtfully, and whether it could resist until it has no other choice. So the thing about the policy for Japan to open outsiders and even to restrict foreigners from going to Japan. So see you in the next coming video. Bye bye.